So, how does a pharmaceutical giant not just survive, but actually thrive in a world that's constantly being disrupted? Well, today we're diving deep into Sun Pharma's 2025 blueprint, all based on their latest annual report to find out exactly that. Let's get right into it. I want to start with just one single number, 100 plus. Now, what do you think that represents? The number of drugs they've developed? Maybe their R&D centers? The real answer, though, is even bigger, and it tells you pretty much everything you need to know about their ambition. That's right, Sun Pharma operates in over 100 countries. Just think about that for a second. The complexity is staggering. 100 different sets of rules, 100 different healthcare systems, 100 different market pressures. This global scale, it's both their greatest strength and their biggest challenge. So here's our game plan for this explainer. First, we'll get a handle on the sheer scale of this company. Then we're going to look at the storm they're navigating, these headwinds facing the entire industry. And this is the really cool part, their countermove, this pivot to what are called specialty medicines. We'll see that strategy in action, and then we'll wrap up by looking at what's on their radar for the future. Okay, Section 1, a global pharma giant. Look, before we can talk about strategy, we have to talk about scale. To really get what Sun Pharma is doing, you've got to appreciate the size of the machine we are looking at here. Just take a look at these numbers. I mean, this is not a small operation. We're talking over 43,000 people, more than 40 manufacturing sites spread across the globe. And check out that R&D investment, 32 billion rupees. That is a massive bet on the future. And back home in India, they're number one, the leader. This isn't just a company, it's a global powerhouse. But here's the thing about being a giant. When you face problems, they're giant-sized too. So in Section 2, we're looking at the major headwinds trying to knock Sun Pharma off course. The whole pharmaceutical world is kind of in flux right now. You've got geopolitical storms tearing up supply chains, forcing everyone to rethink where they make their medicines. At the same time, governments and insurance companies are squeezing prices like never before. And remember those 100-plus countries? Every single one is a maze of rules that are always changing. It's not just a challenge, it's a minefield. So how do you even begin to navigate that minefield? Well, this quote from the chairman, Dilip Shanghvi, is really the key. It's not about playing defense. It's about going on offense by creating, in his words, compelling value. Basically, make yourself so essential that your customers can't imagine a world without you, no matter what else is going on. And that whole idea of compelling value leads us straight to Section 3, the specialty medicine pivot. This is Sun Pharma's big bet. It's their strategic masterstroke. They're deliberately moving away from the crowded, lower-margin world of generic drugs and into the high-stakes, high-reward game of specialty medicines. But first, check out their financial armor. Their revenue is beautifully spread out all over the globe. Yeah, India and the US are the heavy hitters, but they are not dangerously dependent on any one market. This kind of diversification means that a political crisis in one country or a recession in another won't sink the whole ship. It is resilience by design. So what are these specialty medicines anyway? Well, think of them as the total opposite of your everyday painkiller. These are highly innovative, often patent-protected drugs for really complex diseases. Think cancer or autoimmune disorders. And as you can see right here, they are becoming a bigger and bigger piece of Sun Pharma's business, jumping from 18% to 20% of their total revenue in just 1 year. That's not slow change, that is a strategic surge. And here's the rocket fuel behind that surge, a staggering 17.1% growth in the specialty business, blasting right past the $1 billion mark. This isn't just some plans on a PowerPoint slide. It's a strategy that's delivering explosive financial results. The pivot isn't just happening, it's working. And it is working spectacularly. Okay, Section 4, innovation in action. We know the strategy is working. Now let's look at the actual proof. What are the breakthroughs, the concrete moves that show this innovation-first approach is more than just talk? First up, a huge victory for people suffering from severe alopecia areata. That's a really devastating autoimmune disease that causes hair loss. The US FDA gave the green light to their new treatment, Luxelvi. This is a life-changing drug, and it's a perfect example of a specialty product. It targets a desperate, unmet need and creates a whole new standard of care. This right here, this is the new face of Sun Pharma. But hey, innovation isn't just about what you cook up in your own labs. It's also about being smart and strategic. By acquiring a company called Checkpoint Therapeutics, Sun Pharma instantly added a powerful cancer treatment, unloxeted, to their arsenal. And this wasn't some random purchase. It was a surgical strike to help them dominate the high-value field of oncodermatology, which is the intersection of cancer and skin diseases. When you map out their moves on a timeline like this, you just see a relentless pace. This is a company in constant motion. In just 12 months, they're pushing drugs through the super demanding European approval process, they're securing major wins with the US FDA, they're inking deals for next-generation cancer therapies, and they're closing major acquisitions. This is not a company that's waiting for the future to happen. They are actively building it right now. So we've seen the scale, the challenges, the brilliant strategic pivot, and the proof that it's working. That brings us to our final section, priorities for tomorrow. After a year of aggressive moves and huge wins, where does a giant like Sun Pharma focus its energy next? Their roadmap for the coming year is crystal clear and honestly incredibly practical. It's this perfect mix of shoring up the foundations and pushing forward into the future. First, defense. Fix any regulatory issues at their manufacturing plants, right? You can't build a skyscraper on a shaky foundation. Then, pure offense. Make sure those 2 new blockbuster drugs, Winlevi and Unlock City, have a massive launch. Keep that innovation pipeline full. And at the same time, build a fortress against global shocks and weave sustainability into their very DNA. It's just a really smart, balanced plan. So what's the big takeaway from Sun Pharma's story? It really seems to be that in today's chaotic world, the absolute best way to grow is to just relentlessly innovate. It kind of makes you wonder, right? Whether you're running a massive corporation or just your own career, is a constant focus on creating new value the ultimate strategy for success? Definitely something to think about. Thanks for joining this